Welcome. My name is Kody Frederick, and thank you for joining us on Julien's first ever on-air auction. And today, we got ourselves a big Steve primer.
Hello, everybody.
We're very excited. We've got 10 curated lots with some incredible stories that Steve's going to walk us through today. And you're going to be able to bid live while it happens. For those of you that have already bid, keep it bidding. Don't hesitate to stop. But we've got 10 incredible items, and we're doing this every other week on Mondays at noon, and this is our very first one. So with that, it also leads us up to next week's big auction, which is Treasures from the Golden Road, featuring over 300 items from Steve's collection, Ramrod's collection, and Trixie's collection as well.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we're very
excited. A couple
excited.
of other friends of ours very close to us have put a few things into it special.
Yeah, so we're very excited to bring this to you. With that, Steve, let's get started with lot number one. It's a Phil Lesh color portrait by Herb Green.
Sure.
I'll bring it over here. Actually, you know what? Let's pull this out. Here, let me hand this to you.
Okay.
What do we have, Steve? Like, what is this?
Well,
what is lot number one, sir?
You know, this is something that's really near and dear to us. This is something Ramrod had in his collection, and his son Strider is taking care of that now, and he brought this in. And what this represents is one of our dearest friends. One of my first friends in the Haight-Ashbury was Herb Green. And what a great and deeply sincere photographer he was. He had a way of bringing out the moment, the person, the time, the place, and everything. Now this represents, when I look at this is like 1967, Summer Love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's up in a house, I believe on Golden Gate Street, or it might be in Herbie's house, which was on Brady Alley. He lived right next to me in that years, in 1968. But he painted that room. He was really good at making the backgrounds perfect and simplistic too. If you see, that's a wooden floor, and that represents to me all the Victorians that we hung out.
So were the guys living there, or this was Herb's house itself?
No, this was Herb's
Herb's
studio.
house.
He had a little studio.
Okay.
Right, not far from the Carousel Ballroom, around the corner from there.
That's cool.
On Brady. And now, if you notice something, Phil in this picture is wearing two different color socks.
Let's get in there. Yeah.
And what that comes from in our world, where that was Ken Kesey and the pranksters. And that was a thing that Ramrod loved this picture because he drove the prankster bus. That's how he got into the whole thing. And so wearing two different color socks meant you were a freak. That was a secret thing. We used to joke about it. Oh, I got dressed in the dark. No, you put on two different socks on purpose, man. And usually bright colors, psychedelic, day glow colors. And that's what that represents. And of course, Phil's wearing a perfect paisley shirt, which you just don't see anymore. You know, that was considered psychedelic and represented the connection of the Haight-Ashbury to 1920s Paris and art colonies throughout the world. Wow. Paisley was a connection to the Mideast and all kinds of beautiful things.
Well, that's pretty amazing, Steve. I mean, a really beautiful photo from an established artist that covered the Dead for years and years and years, right? Mm-hmm. Currently, we have a bid at $500. We're asking for $6, so bid it at $6 to take it home at $6. But we're going to close it out here at $5, so bid at $6. The size on this, what size do we have? What's the exact size and scale on this? Julie, you want to let me know? Scroll down there. We have it 20 by 16 by 1 inches. So it gives you kind of a sense of the size and the scale of what we're dealing with. But click and bid it now at $6. $600. Bid it now. Fair warning. We're going to sell it at $500. Hammers up. Sold at $500. Bidder number. 1084 for $500. And of course, Steve.
Yeah.
We have lot number 2, which is great because this is, the wall of sound defined the Dead, right? Like in so many ways.
In a lot of ways, it sure did.
And so we have with us here 2 1973 to 1974 Wall of Sound PA tower and scaffolding blueprints, which is really great.
Now, you help me out here for a second.
Yeah, I'm going to hold this down here.
Hold that open for
Yeah,
me.
let's hold this down.
Now, if you can get a shot of
here,
this.
let me go in the tight here.
Okay, so this was a finished product of a scaffolding blueprint that was done for us by Bill Graham's FM Productions and Upright Scaffolding in conjunction with them. Now, the scaffolding for the Wall of Sound had to be exact. It was 35 feet tall, representing a standing bass wave, which Owsley insisted Phil's cabinet length had to be.
Wow.
This whole structure went on the ground and between the stage. So in other words, the stage had to be split in two pieces to fit this in between.
Right.
If this wasn't right, we could never put up the wall. It had to be exactly right with platforms in the right places to put the other sections in.
Wow.
So this is a little bit before, you see, you got to understand the Wall of Sound, we started building it. It took us years. You know, we started at Alembic on Judah and 9th in San Francisco as Owsley's dream. All of us taking a lot of psychedelic drugs. And we said there are no PAs that fit the game that we're playing in. Woodstock was way, you couldn't get the sound to enough people.
Right.
So we came up with these innovative ideas. And this is represents that. It's a rare piece. We all had copies of this because we all put it up together. You know, there was really only 4 of us that assembled it, but that thing had to be exactly right.
So then what you're saying is when you would do this, it didn't matter the venue. You required a certain spacing and size so that you could build that wall of sound. And we have two pieces to this particular lot right here.
Now, this is from a time when that represents also when the PA was on both sides of the stage. You see, we were building the wall of sound for so many years that we started by putting scaffolding on both sides of the stage and filling them with the same cabinets that you later saw in the Wall of Sound.
Wow.
You know, and so these are historical to the very beginnings of the origins of the Wall of Sound.
So you want to build your own wall of sound. This is the
And
starting
basically,
point.
this is the PA setup we used at Watkins Glen
Yeah.
in 1973, or I believe that was, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a...
And so from there, after that, it was right to the Wall of Sound. We were building speakers that day at Watkins Glen to put in those scaffolding arrangements.
Wow.
But the scaffolding changed over the years, a lot of different ways, but it had to be exactly right or we couldn't do it, like I say. And there's more in the rest of the big sale. There's some other blueprints that represent what we got into years later with how elaborate everything was. We started off with just one semi, ended up with 14. You know?
Right. And that was all wall of sound because the wall was so big? Or
Well,
the band just, you know?
we were pretty compact. We were 75 tons of equipment in the Wall of Sound days, you know, but we took it to Europe in 1974, and then it was too difficult to try to move that around.
Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bid at $800, asking 9, bid now on 9 for both of these. Bid now at 9. $900. Bid now at 9. 900. Now here we go. We're going to cut back to 1 here. Bid now at 900. We have an $800 bid. We're asking for 9. $900 going once. $900 going twice. Bid it now. We're going to sell it at $800. Hammers up. Sold at $800. Bidder number 800 to 1089. And lot number 3. Oh, this is a fun one.
Yeah, this is one of my lots. And, you know, at the end of a show, there'd always be the audience wanting to throw things up for the band on stage.
Right.
So in the early days, they threw up all kinds of drugs and everything they had, you know, shirts, T-shirts, shoes, crazy things. We even had animals put on their turtles and rabbits and crazy stuff. When what they call the license plates that were personalized started coming out in the late 70s, early 80s, all of a sudden these started showing up.
Right.
And I kept them, the ones that I could grab and the ones that I wanted to keep.
Yeah.
And the collection is in this auction.
So,
and this is one example of it.
So with this, it seems like we've got quite a few license plates of the Dead. Was this just something that people, you know, got in the habit of doing? How did the word get out?
Because the fans of the Grateful Dead were so much part of the show and so much attached to us.
Yeah.
That I've always felt that when they throw these license plates up, it was them saying, look, I ride proudly with my car with something about you. A lot of the license plates are references to songs and times and places, you know. And so when you see that signage like that, you realize the love that this band brought out of people. You know? And I always thought about that like that. That's why I kept them. And I kept them in my studio, at Front Street Studio. I had them at a workshop there, and they were all on the wall there, you know. Mm-hmm. I kept the thing together. And now it's time for all these things to go back to the heart and soul of the Grateful Dead, which is the audience.
Yeah. Well,
And these things are tributes to all that.
and there's some incredible other pieces in Treasures from the Golden Road, which is closing next Wednesday. But this one you can have. You can win it today. Currently, we have a bid at $1,250. We're asking for $1,500. Bid now at $1,500. You want to bid $1,500 going once. Click and bid right now. Don't miss out. Take it home at $1,500. $1,500 going once. $1,500 going twice. Hammers up. Bid it now. We're going to sell it at $1,250. Sold at $1,250. Bidder number 1034 at $1,250. 1034, you said? Lot number 4. Oh, here we go. Steve, we have here Lawrence Ramrod Shirtlifts small anvil hand carrying case. This must mean something to you here.
That means a lot. I myself put this sticker on there. We got this sticker when we did the first day on the green.
Yeah.
And a fan made a bunch of these for us, and we liked them. So we stuck it on. It stayed all those many years since that day.
Yeah.
And when we started out, we didn't have cases for anything.
Sure.
And so the first cases we had made were so precious to us, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This one represents a time when we were starting to get cases made for all of what we called our farb. Farb is when you're on the road and you're packing up a big setup like we always had.
Sure.
Sometimes, oh man, I didn't put this mic in the case. I didn't put this in there, this cable. So the farb case became
Leftovers. Yeah.
You'd put everything in there and have it safe in there. It couldn't get hurt, you know. And not only that, there were times when we were on the road, and I'll tell you the truth, when we were going through borders into Canada and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'd pull this out of our truck, because you couldn't go through the border, and we'd empty our pockets of things that you know, cigars and things you don't want to take in and out of America. And then this went in another vehicle, way separate, where you would never imagine.
Wow.
And never looked at even. Because, you know, sometimes you had to expect, when you got to a customs place, they told you to take everything out.
Right.
So this was strictly a crew box, is what I call it, because of that, the FARB box. It's
Great. Well, we got bids coming in here on this, which is great. And clearly on the inside, there's no padding, or there was on the top here.
But we had to take the padding out over the years because it went to be used for so many other things. You know, all of our gear, when Jerry passed, went to all the different bands and different things. So they went on different locations. Now this has a history for it, for sure. You can see the wear and tear in there, and some of the stickers, because it even smells like the fire we had in London in 1972.
Oh, really?
Which is around the time we got that, because a lot of our cases have that smell of the London fire, we call it.
What's great is you've got the skull with the lightning rod on the very front there. Lightning bolt, excuse me, not bolt rod, but yes, clearly
And that
identifiable.
was designed by a guy named Bob Thomas, who lived with Owsley, and he was a great artist.
Sorry about that. Here's the back side, and then clearly under. And this was stackable. You can see on the tops you've got these where the feet would go in there, right?
Well, yeah, and that's so you could stack on top of it. If
Right.
you had others like it, but also there were certain amplifiers that could fit in here, small ones, you know.
Right. Wow, really great. We got a bid at $2,250. Bid now at $2,500. Take it home at $2,500. $2,500 going once. We're going to sell it here. There's the bid at $2,500. $2,750 is now the ask. We're asking for $2,750. The bids are coming in. Don't hesitate. This is an incredible piece of dead history, Steve's history, you know, Ramrod's history.
Ramrod,
as well.
yeah, it was his box, but we all shared in everything, and we took care of it all together.
That's amazing.
It means a lot to me. Even these silly cases, you might say, they held the history of the band, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. $2,750 going once. $2,750 going twice. Hammers up. Bid it now. We're going to sell it. Sold at $2,500. Bidder number? 1097 for $2,500. 1097. Lot number 5. So, Steve, this one's close to you. Lot number 5. This is a direct touch to you and what you've got going on here.
Well, this starts, the story of this piece here
Yeah.
starts in the summer of 1968 when Ramrod and I became close friends in San Francisco where I lived. And I helped him move some gear around. We became friends. And then he got me working with Owsley. He took me over to Owsley's house, and Owsley put me through the acid test, and then let me work at his studio, Judah and Ninth in San Francisco. It's called Alembic.
Yeah.
Alembic stood for alchemy, and there was all kinds of things you were tested at. And to become a part of the crew, you got these medallions that we all wore. Everybody in the band wore them. And it came from Owsley's thing of the enlightened skull. That's why you see that lightning through the skull. So we were standing out in front of Alembic one day, and I had a Cadillac, a 1951 pearlescent green Cadillac that I bought from Ramrod for $75. And Jerry comes out, and he says, guys, would you take my guitar? Which later became the Alligator. It was a Stratocaster that Graham Nash had given him. And would you take my guitar and twin reverb over to the Matrix? I want to play with Howard Wales. That was Howie Wowie. Howie Wowie was the pot dealer of the Haight-Ashbury.
So you're telling me his last name wasn't Wowie?
No, it was Howard Wales. He was a famous player, too. He was in a couple of bands. He was in A.B. Sky, and he played. Jerry would go and jam with him.
Yeah.
So I said, sure, I'll do it, Jerry, because Ramrod had just met Frances, who was the lady who he later got together with in Florida, in Miami, Florida, and he wanted to go home. So I said, sure, I'll do it. And Jerry was so excited. So Jerry and I bonded over the Garcia band, with his own band. What started from that day was that everybody wanted him to play in their jam with them.
Right.
So he started doing that. Then he realized, I'm going to start my own little side band. So he and I stuck together on that from beginning to end.
That's great.
Now, these are so rare because we had a lot of Grateful Dead stick-on passes, but nobody has Garcia band passes. Very few rarefied people who worked with us and went there. I had the opportunity to keep them all because that was my job, being road manager, equipment manager, and then finally managing the whole thing as all the other managers fell by the wayside in that life. So what you have here is an assortment. You're never going to see anything like this. For instance, here's a Keystone San Francisco, started by our dear friend Freddie Herrera, who actually custom made his nightclubs for us. We started working for him on Vallejo and Stockton Street, and then he moved to Broadway, and that's where this is from. And then he had Keystones in Berkeley and Palo Alto and all over. We loved it. Now all these others, here's one from
81.
Read upside down. Hartford, is it Hartford, Connecticut?
It doesn't say the Orpheum.
The Orpheum Theater. This
Orpheum
is from
Theater?
San Francisco, from a San Francisco show at the Orpheum Theater. This here's Cellar Door in Washington, D.C. You got ones here from the Fillmore. This one here is from Jerry Garcia
E.M.
Band.
Lowe's. E.M.
at
Lowe's.
E.M. Lowe's, and it probably says where it is on there.
It just,
And all these mean so much to me because you see they're each different ones. And these, we didn't make these. They were made by the promoters. And they would give us a rare few passes to use at our shows.
Cool.
So these represent the early days of the Garcia Band.
Yeah. Well, we currently have a bid on it at $600. We're asking for $700. Be sure to bid it at $700. $700. $700. Fair warning. Bid it now. Don't hesitate. Bid now. Bid often. I hate to miss those bids. $700 going once, going twice. Hammers up. Sold at $600. Bidder number 1092 for $600. Next up, 1092. We have it. We have Jerry Garcia's vintage 1982 Jerry Garcia and Friends benefit concert T-shirt. Let's cut to one here, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see us as we bring it in. Look what we've got here. All right, incredible T-shirt. What's the?
Well, this,
is this from your collection, Steve?
yes, it is. This piece is. Nobody. It's not a secret. Everybody knows that. Our relationship with the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club.
Sure.
And wherever we went, at the time we were traveling all across America, they were expanding everywhere in the world also.
Yeah.
And so we got to know them everywhere they were, because they had a deep respect for the Grateful Dead, and they were our friends. So this shirt represents something we did for the New York chapter of Hells Angels. For their president, Sandy Alexander was his name. And he was a very good friend of ours. And his son, Eric, so you see little Eric up here. His son, Eric, was playing in where their clubhouse was in New York on 3rd Street. It was a pretty rough place. And Eric was roughhousing up there with his friends, and he fell off the roof, off the top of a roof, and he got hurt really bad. So Jerry and I went over to the hospital where he was. He was in Bellevue Hospital in New York, and Sandy and his wife Colette were pretty much thinking he was in a coma. Would he ever live? You know, they asked us if we would do a show for Eric, and the Grateful Dead didn't do the show, but it was all these other people and some members of the Grateful Dead too pitched in. So you see all these stars, and you can probably read the names right there. You see.
Yeah, we sure can. We've got.
We met Bo Diddley at that show.
Yeah, you've got. I think you have Bo Diddley on here. What do we have? We've got Bo Diddley, Robert Gordon, Ronnie Spector,
Right.
Raggett,
Yeah, these people were in
Moonbeam.
Elephant's Memory. This band, some of them were in that, and of course Bo Diddley and us. We hit it off so good. We did a lot of shows with him after that. And I believe the show itself was at the Anderson Theater in Lower Manhattan, not far from the Fillmore.
What size is this? Do you know? We have a size
Probably
on there?
XL.
It's an extra large. Yeah, that's right. Beautiful shirt. $250 is the current bid. Asking for $300. Bid it now at $300.
Very rare
300.
shirt. Very rare shirt.
$300. $300 going once. Click and bid it now at $300. Don't miss out. We're going to sell it here at $250. $300 going once. $300 going twice. Hammers up. Get it now. Don't miss out.
Little Eric lived. He didn't.
He did?
Came out of that coma and he lived. Yes, sir.
Well, and the T represents it. Hope you're doing well, little Eric. Sold at $250. Bidder number?
He passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. 250 to what? To what?
Not your fault.
1084. Well, in memory of little Eric, then I
It was
suppose.
later on when he was growing up living in Florida. Now, we know how dangerous Florida is.
The Gators.
Okay, this is something really interesting. This is from Trixie, Jerry's daughter, you know, because Jerry, wherever he was, he loved to doodle and make art.
Right.
And he would sit there, whatever, if we were in a restaurant, he'd start doodling on his napkin. He'd do it on anything that was around. This is his airbrush phase, where he bought this really cool little airbrush kit when it first came out, and he started just messing with it, you know. And it had a, you know, just like an airbrush would, it had a little reservoir on top, and it was very air blown with a little compressor, and he just would mess with that for hours, you know, sit in his little study that he had at his house in the later time when that thing came out. And this was his interpretation. He liked working in every medium there was, you know. And I think he had a touch for art.
Right.
It's not easy to use an airbrush to create a face like that. If you think about how it blows the air out, you know, he would master it.
Was there something like, I mean, aside from maybe drugs, was there anything that he did to kind of get into that mode?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did he have like a process?
When he was doing something serious like this, no, he would just
Explore.
maybe smoke a joint, you know, and let himself go into that and take and start creating from what he liked to play around with mechanical stuff, you know, so he'd constantly trying different ways of, you can make the airbrush go thicker, thinner, you know, all different ideas, different spray tips you put on. So he loved that for that reason. But if he just had anything in his hand, a crayon even, he'd start writing on something, you know. And it was really great to see because he'd gone to art school in San Francisco and it affected him. It was the first time in his life that he realized he had this other talent besides guitar playing, which he knew he had. But he was a humble person, you know, and so this just represents another aspect of his expression of art.
Yeah, absolutely. And we currently have a bid at $1,750, asking for $2,000. We have a hand drawing that's going to come up next, but this is the airbrush, the original
What's
airbrush.
neat about this is he never expected this to ever go to anybody else but him in his drawer there, you know. So for it to end up on this journey through his family at this auction is a beautiful way to get a piece of that.
I mean, that's an interesting point in general with auction when we're dealing with it normally. It's just always wild to see where things land and how they get here. And that's one of these pieces. 1750, it's 12 inches by 9 inches. 1750 is the current bid, asking for $2,000. $2,000 going once. Bid it now. I don't want to miss out on your bid, but be sure to bid now. $2,000 going twice. Hammers up. Bid it now. Sold at $1,750. Bidder number 1083 for $1,750. Next up, lot number 8. It is another piece of artwork by Jerry. It's a original pencil drawing of a man's face. This is what we've got
Yeah.
here.
Well, you know, this represents what he would just grab a pencil, like I'm talking about, anytime, and start sketching on a piece of, you know, ring paper just pulled right out of
Yeah, let's
a
put it down here.
sketchbook. And
Whose face is that? Is that you, Steve?
no, but he had faces in his mind, you know, all the time, and he would do that. Sometimes I have a couple of pieces where just faces, all different faces,
Right.
you know, because he would tell me how hard to draw the face was, you know, and how hard to draw the anatomy of the human being, a hand itself.
Right.
And he and I would go to Disneyland and other places. He loved Disney sketch work and their stuff in art, you know, and he would always point out to me how all their cartoon characters didn't even have 5 fingers on their hand.
Right.
And he tried to master that. So this is part of him mastering the human face, you know, and
Did
to
he-
show emotion with it.
Right. Did he ever draw you?
Yeah.
He did?
He did. He put me on a set list for a Jerry Garcia band show and put a little sketch of me in there. But he would do that to us all, you know, at different times, sketch something, look around what was around him.
That's great.
It was the same thing like Grateful Dead would write songs about what was happening in our lives, you know, because he's part of this whole thing. And yeah, he sketched everybody.
It's amazing. Well, we currently have a bid at $22.50. This is 8 by 6 inches. We have it against this white here to keep frame, but it looks like it was ripped out of a stencil pad. It looks like
A sketchbook.
A
He got a little
sketchbook.
sketchbook, sketch paper.
Yeah, yeah. So bid it now at $2,500. $2,500 going once. Don't miss out. Bid now at $2,500. $2,500 hammers up. We're going to sell it at $22.50. Bid now. Sold at $22.50 to bidder number. $22.50 to $10.79. Now next up we have a Bill Graham, Jerry Garcia band photo signed to Mr. Big Steve Parish.
Well, this is an example of at the Warfield Theater with the Garcia Band in their last incarnation. We always rotated to different people in the band a lot. So this is the last formation of the Garcia Band with Melvin Seals and, of course, John Kahn, Kemper on drums, Jackie and Gloria and Jerry. And Bill was so proud of all our friendship and relationship with us and the Jerry Band and the Grateful Dead. He would give us these little gifts, you know, and this time particularly he gave me this one and signed it to me, cheers, Bill. He always wrote cheers on his little presents. And it's just a keepsake of my time with him and my time with the band. It's a cute little shot.
Beautiful.
I don't mean that silly way.
No,
It came
no.
out looking with that great picture of the Earth, it looks like back there.
Yeah, is that a cat looking at like in front of the moon? Is that what that is?
Well, you know, sometimes it looks like the man in the moon can look like a cat, and so that's what you call poetic license of the drawing of that.
Of course, yeah. Beautiful piece here. We have a bid at $350 asking for, bid now at $4. It is 18.5 by 13.5. You can kind of tell size and scale based off of me holding it here. But this is lot number 9, ladies and gentlemen. Bid now at $400. $400 going once. Here we go. I've got the hammer here. Would you mind holding this? $400 going twice. Bid it now. Hammer's up. We're going to sell it. Sold at $350 to bidder number. $350 to $10.73. $350 to $10.73. Now we have one final item today, ladies and gentlemen. The last item on our live stream here on the last of the auction. What do we have here? This is our Music Never Stopped Roots of the Grateful Dead record album. This is from you, Steve, right? This is part of your collection.
Something I had.
Yeah.
And what's so beautiful about this is that it was done after Jerry passed, but it was a way of getting in to all these beautiful musicians and people. They're all listed here on here. And they were making tribute to the Grateful Dead. And it's a drawing really special by R. Crumb. R. Crumb was our favorite underground artist. And I got all of his comic books, and Jerry and I used to get high every day and read these comics, you know. And so when you see this, it's a perfect tribute to him, and it's got the Bertha, Grateful Dead.
We can get in a little
insignia
closer
on
here so
here.
we can
Yeah,
kind
you
of
do
see.
that.
We can get a little
But
closer.
get a
there.
good look. It's a beautiful piece of art, not only being a record you could play and have all that great music on. And so that Art Crumb, rare piece of art and a rare collection of people doing Grateful Dead music.
It's interesting because you've got Merle Haggard on there. You've got Bob Dylan, Woody Guthrie, some great names, Buddy Holly, Chuck Berry.
Well, they're
you
all the
name it.
roots of the Grateful Dead. Grateful Dead did these songs, you know, and so the people originally did them, and then the Grateful Dead did tribute,
Right.
and then this is a collection of all those roots, man.
Yeah.
And that was the thing about American music being represented in the Grateful Dead.
Sure.
Because it's all about that, you know. And I just thought this was really special because it felt to me always like it was representative of our whole careers almost, and how we knew all these
Right.
great people. We knew all these people too.
Right.
And that was the beautiful thing about the brotherhood of the road and things. And yeah, it's incredible.
Really great piece here. We currently have a bid at $200, asking $250. Bid now at $250. $250. It is a real record. I don't doubt you can play it. It looks like the threads are in there that you can play it. But we currently are at $200, asking $250. Bid now at $250. $250. Fair warning. Bid it now at $250. $250. Going once. Going twice. Sold at $200. Bidder number? 1084. Ladies and gentlemen, 1084 at $200. Thank you so much for joining us today on our first ever on air. Steve, thank you so much for being a part of this. And we're very excited. Next Wednesday at the Box in San Francisco. If you're in San Francisco, you want to come out. Doors open at 9:30. We close it. We start closing out all of the lots in the big sale that we have next week, which are Treasures from the Golden Road, featuring over 300 items. Some of these are similar to what you'll find in the sale, but we have instruments played by Jerry, other pieces of hardware that were part of the Wall of Sound.
Handwritten things by Jerry, notes, set lists.
What's your favorite thing that we've got in that sale? Was there anything that really stands
out? For me, everything, when I look at the whole thing, it's like looking at my life laid out, you know, in that way.
Yeah.
And so there are beautiful things in it. And of course, I was so close with Jerry and everybody that to see any of it reminds me of the memories, you know. So all of it put together is a beautiful collection. And like I said earlier, it's time for it to come back home to where it comes from, the audience that was so great. So thank you guys, thank you all for being a part of this with us, you know. And it's not easy in a lot of ways, but I hope it goes to good homes.
It will.
And that's why we're here with Julien.
Absolutely. And join us in 5 to 7 minutes on Instagram Live. We're going to walk through. We've got a great, incredible setup for next week. Thank you, Steve. And we'll see you then. Be sure tomorrow at noon, we've got our next drop. So we have 10 new items from our next sale. So be sure to check that out at noon. Don't hesitate. We look so forward to seeing you bid. And remember to watch, bid, and win. Thank you.
There it is. There's that thing right there at Egypt. That's in front of the pyramids, man. There it is, dude. You see the hole on it right there? You see that? This sacred honor of working for the Grateful Dead, which had so much meaning. You were part of something that was bigger than anything you ever imagined in your life. Our whole world was electric. Each one of us that came to the Grateful Dead was there for a reason. You see anything now on a rock and roll stage, we invented it. We did everything, lighting, truck driving, and so I was suited for all that, man. We lived and breathed rock and roll, and we did everything to get the Grateful Dead show on. There was a time when we had a warehouse bigger than this one I'm sitting in, full of our gear. And what did the band tell me? They said, will you guys get rid of this stuff? And so they said, take it home if you guys want it. Take it home. Julien's and the Grateful Dead. It's a good combination.